Welcome to the Live from South College podcast. I'm your host, Kathleen Stockham. The Live from South College podcast is your source for all South College activity, including new student information, deep dives into our 100 plus programs and concentration, tools of the trade, and even live on location from all of our campuses. Great interviews with faculty, staff, deans, and hear from South College students and alumni in their own words. From certificates all the way to doctoral degrees, catch up with Live from South College for the lighter side of helping your dreams find direction. Each episode, we try really hard to bring you the entire variety of programs we have, but also a wide variety of faculty and staff that are devoted to providing the very best experience. As a student, you are able to take part and be enveloped in an entire curriculum that has been built, prepared, and tested by capable experts, instructors, and accreditors. My next guest is a big part of that ecosystem. It's time to get to know the Executive Director of Instructional Design and Technology, Dr. Holly Dennis. Hi, Dr. Dennis.
Hey, Kathleen. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, this will be fun. I've been looking forward to this one. I've been doing a lot of research on this. So, instructional design is honestly something that I was not familiar with when I joined South College as an EDU neophyte some time ago. So, I think there is a lot of time and a lot of stuff to uncover here. So, here we go. Instructional design is a really fascinating area in education, but perhaps not as well known. So, can you explain what instructional design is and why it's such a critical area of student experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree with you, Kathleen. Instructional design really is fascinating. And the cool part is that it brings together three things: teaching, technology, and psychology. So, in a nutshell, instructional design is about being intentional with how learning happens. It's not just tossing content at students and hoping it sticks. It's really designing experiences that are engaging, effective, and tied directly to learning outcomes. And here at South, my team and I focus on making sure students don't just get the information, but actually interact with it in ways that build real skills and knowledge that they can carry forward into their careers. And that's critical because strong instructional design can be the difference between an education that feels overwhelming and boring versus education that feels meaningful and impactful.
Oh, I love that. And I think when you said earlier about tossing content at students, I think that's the one part for students that there is so much work and preparation and scoping and scoring that happens with all of this curriculum before they ever see it, before they ever get to it. It doesn't just magically appear on the screen or magically.
Yep, you got it.
So I want to dispel any myths out there. There is no magical wizard. There is actually a team of people that work together. So I want to make sure we're clear on that. But that actually makes a ton of sense. Do you need to be more technical as a skill set or more creative to do what you do, or is it both?
Hmm. I have to say it takes both. I think instructional design really sits at the crossroads of creativity and technology. On the creative side, you've got curriculum development, creative writing, multimedia, and so on. And it's basically figuring out how to make learning something that people actually want to engage with. And then on the technical side, it's more about navigating learning management systems, working with data, partnering with internal IT teams and vendors on integrations, and so on. So the focus on that technical side is going to be ensuring a secure, reliable, and seamless learning experience for students. So, in my eyes, the best instructional designers are kind of bilingual in that sense. They can speak to both the creative educator and tech problem solver. And that mix is what makes the learning experience really come together. And I should also note that some institutions do prefer to separate those skill sets to ensure a high level of expertise where maybe one team focuses on the technical side and then another team may focus on that curriculum, content, development side that's more the creative side.
Okay, that's really fascinating because you're right. You kind of have to work with both sides of your brain because the other question that I would have is you also have to take into consideration that people learn things differently. Some are more visual learners, some are more contextual learners. So I mean, how does that incorporate into what you do?
Well, yeah, you definitely have to take that into consideration at the very beginning is you have to understand your student body, what the curriculum is trying to convey, and then building those learning experiences around that. At the same time, understanding that there are different ways to process the content. And so that can be a variety of things from interactive simulations to videos to projects to discussion forums, but you really want to get that nice mix of those different cognitive experiences so that you're not just passively learning and you're not just regurgitating facts, but you're actually taking the content, seeing it in multiple ways, and then making meaning out of it to really display your true knowledge.
Oh gosh, that's so cool. It's very fascinating. So, can you provide an example of what you do, let's say for a new program?
Yeah, great question. So, when South prepares to launch a new program, our team gets involved from the very start. We sit down with faculty and academic leadership, subject matter experts, and so on to map out what students actually need to learn and then build a framework for the delivery of the curriculum. So from there, we design each course with structured modules, fun and engaging activities, assessments, and the right tech tools to create a meaningful and engaging learning experience. So, for example, if we were launching a new healthcare program, we might utilize interactive software with simulations or clinical decision making exercises that mimic real world practice. The goal here would be that the students, again, don't memorize those theories and facts. They're actually practicing the skills they'll use in their careers.
Okay, so the other part of that I think is really fascinating is the fact that these new programs, to your point, don't just appear overnight. Hey, we're going to start this program. Poof, here it is. We're talking about months and months and months of preparation, of building, of obviously getting accreditation approval and all of those things where it applies. I mean, how rewarding is that for you to see something that started as a first meeting and an idea of or a genesis of, "Hey, we're gonna do this new program," to actually seeing it launch. How does that feel?
It's amazing. I almost liken it to like a home makeover show where it's so fascinating to see and build something and to see everything come into fruition and see that beautiful outcome, right? Maybe not the best example, but it's just seeing everything come together and into this beautiful package that you can deliver. I think that's probably the most rewarding part is building that brand new program from the ground up.
Yeah, I can almost imagine that as you're also sort of walking through all of the different directions that you have. I mean, do you ever stop yourself at some point and go, "Ooh, wait a minute. Maybe this doesn't make sense," or maybe the student won't understand, or do you guys pretty much have a good machine where you don't really have those kind of issues?
That's a great question. That does happen. Don't get me wrong. But but we do have quality assurance checks and a process that's very iterative where it goes through lines of approval before we finally put that out. And so we make sure to get different perspectives, different folks at the table to review and make sure everything not only is aligned to the learning objectives, but it just cohesively comes together and really just creates that engaging, meaningful product. And it's not just our team, it's not just the SMEs, it's academic leadership. It's so many other players where we can just make sure it's the best product before it does go live.
Yeah, I love that. So, do instructional design professionals work outside of EDU or is it exclusively in the education space?
Absolutely. They are all over the place. I mean, if you think about mostly when we think of instructional design, it's usually in the higher education or K through 12 setting, but They're in demand pretty much everywhere. Other
Ooh,
settings could be corporate training, government, healthcare, nonprofits, you name it. Really, any place where people need to learn new skills, adopt new technology, or follow new processes should really have instructional designers at the table.
yeah.
So, for
Yeah.
example, in the corporate world, right?
Mhm.
There are onboarding programs, leadership development courses, compliance training, and the ID's role in this case would be to just help people actually know what they're supposed to do and do it well.
Yeah, I love that. So it's interesting because you're saying that there's need and there's kind of a cry for help out there for more and more of these. So let's talk about the pathway. Tell me about the educational path that a student can take to become an IDT professional.
Honestly, there's no single path into instructional design. So I'll touch a little bit on both the educational and I guess, the alternative route. um, and that's what I love about instructional design. That's what makes it so fun and accessible. There's no single path. People come from all sorts of backgrounds, like education, tech, communications, business, and so on. Some do have formal instructional design degrees, and some are teachers that have transitioned into the field, or some have unknowingly moved into ID roles at their companies because they simply enjoy building training and teaching others. So, again, in my opinion, there are so many ways to become an instructional designer.
Oh, that's cool. Well, conveniently, we offer a postdoctoral certificate in instructional design and technology. And while you are not a faculty member, can you tell me a little bit more about this and kind of what degree do you need to have to actually approach this certificate, this postdoctoral certificate in instructional design and technology if you want to go that route?
Yeah, great question. So, in addition to our competency based Doctor of Education degree, where there's an instructional design specialization, we do also offer that postdoctoral certificate that you just alluded to.
Hmm.
It is altogether 36 credit hour program, and it focuses on areas like e-learning theories and models, online course development, and the integration of technology into teaching and learning. Specifically, students will be exposed to research, emerging trends, and best practices in the field. By the time they complete their certificate, they're well prepared, in my opinion, for roles like in anywhere. E-learning developer, you could be a training manager, education consultant. Maybe you want to go into instructional design leadership. You can find so many variety of roles across different settings. And before we move on to the next session, I just want to have just like a quick plug about our CBE program here at South because it's amazing.
It really
And
is.
it really is. And it truly provides learners with an opportunity to gain a degree at their own pace. Our competency based education is a great fit for self starters, busy professionals, or anyone who prefers to learn at their own speed. And I can't speak so highly of this. And I think that everyone who is potentially interested in getting into the field of instructional design really take a look at what we offer here at South. It's very valuable.
Yeah, I agree. We talk a lot about CBE on the podcast. I've interviewed the president of CBE, Dr. Michael Patrick. Oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 times at least. He's a good sport for coming on as I beg him to come on and talk more about CBE, and I've certainly witnessed the success of CBE from people that I know who have gone through the program, and obviously I have colleagues here who have also gone through it, and they all just glow with how amazing it is that you have a program that allows you to pursue a master's or doctoral degree, or in this case, a postdoctoral certificate, and you can still work full time. You can still raise a family. You can still take trips and weekends and all of those things while pursuing your education. And it's this wonderful one-on-one relationship that you have with faculty. So you're not sitting in a classroom, you're not having to have specific turn-in dates. It's really truly designed, as you said, for the self-starter and someone who is vigorous about pursuing more education, but also with a realism that they can do it on their own time. So 100% agree. And there you
Yeah.
go. Shameless plug for CBE. I love it. So, what's your advice for anyone possibly considering the direction of instructional design and technology?
Yeah, awesome question, Kathleen. I would say
Well, that's what I do.
if you're starting from scratch, don't be intimidated. None of us begin with all the answers or the perfect network. Start by exploring free resources, joining online communities, and experimenting with design tools. You'll just be surprised how quickly you pick things up.
Hmm.
Maybe even look for small projects, volunteer opportunities to build your confidence and portfolio. And as we just discussed a second ago, maybe consider obtaining a formal degree or certificate in instructional design. Um,
Yeah. So
remember,
it's
it's just, I guess the final piece here would be remember, it's not where you start, it's about your willingness to learn and keep going. Every expert in the field started out as a beginner, too. So
mhm.
always think about that. Don't let it prevent you from moving forward.
No, I agree. And I think it's also great for someone that really wants to be involved in education, but maybe teaching is not for them, or
Hmm.
possibly they don't have the patience or unbelievable amount of compassion that it takes to be a teacher, but you also have the ability to still affect outcomes and learning for people of all ages. So I love that. All right, so we're going to turn the table a little bit. Let's talk about you. What has been
Okay.
your path and how did you get to South College?
Yeah, I actually started out as a high school teacher almost 20 years ago. And don't get me wrong, I loved teaching.
Yeah.
But after 4 years, I realized that staying up past midnight grading papers was not my idea of a lifelong calling.
Yep.
That's when I discovered instructional design through a role in my local school district. And it felt like a light bulb movement. Finally, I found a career where I could use my skills, where I could embrace my creativity, and something where I didn't have to use a red pen every single day. As I worked as an instructional designer, I did that for about 5 years. I realized, though, I wanted to expand my skill set and learn more. And I decided to go to graduate school. And there I picked up some adjunct teaching on the side and eventually earned my degree in curriculum and instruction with a focus on instructional technology. And that was a doctorate of philosophy at the University of South Florida. And from there, after I graduated with my PhD, I joined a local healthcare school as a senior instructional designer. And over time, I just really felt that I was in the perfect role for who I was. So I successfully climbed the ladder and became Dean of Curriculum, Instructional Design, and Technology, which I know is a really long title, but
Yes.
it basically meant I wore a lot of hats. And after that role, I decided to actually test the waters in corporate learning and development for a few years. And I thought it was an amazing experience. I learned so much, but I realized that higher ed is really where my heart is. And so now here I am full circle. I'm back at South as the executive director of instructional design and tech.
Oh, I love that. What a cool story. And I love the fact that you found an evolvement. So
Hmm.
you started, as you said, as a high school teacher, and just God bless you, because that is not an easy job. I don't know how you did that. But you really found your path just by following your passion, and that you kind of that this is where you're at. And here it is, it's paid off, and now you can pay it forward and impact the lives of our students and students to come. So I think that's actually really cool. So what do you do in your spare time?
Oh, yeah. In my spare time, I try to stay active, but mostly to keep up with my two kids who are 7 and 4.5. Chasing them all around might be the most intense workout of them all. But in all seriousness, I do enjoy playing tennis and pickleball. And I just try to spend as much time as I can outdoors on the weekends.
Oh, I love that. Well, wait till your kids are in their 20s and they know everything. So just a little preparation for you because you'll get there. And they know everything, by the way, just in case you weren't sure. They will let you know. What what kind of student were you in school?
Yeah, I was kind of that middle of the road student where I wasn't in AP classes, but I wasn't struggling by any means. And I think it was partly because um, I didn't necessarily have like educational mentors. I didn't have kind of that push to excel and have that educational space where I could use my creativity, my entrepreneurial skills, like all of these skills that aren't just the typical academic subjects like math and reading and so on and so forth. And so I think if the curriculum would have been a little bit different growing up, I probably would have outshined a lot.
Mhm,
And that's why I'm so interested in just understanding, like now as a professional, is to understand all the different learning styles and figure out ways to
mhm.
really meet the needs of all of the variety of students out there by giving them a sampling of different modalities and so forth. But I did enjoy school, and I'm a lifelong learner. I never stop learning, and that's the name of the game.
Yeah, it totally is, and I think that's what makes South College unique. I say this all the time that when I walk the halls at every campus, I'm amazed at these are not just 18-year-olds wide-eyed and not sure what they wanna do. We have 35, 40, 50-year-olds that are second career, third career in some cases, or wanting to learn more, and that's what makes South College so unique is that we have a pathway for everybody for what they wanna do, and we have so many different directions that we go in, and I absolutely identify with what you're saying. I wasn't necessarily a great student, I was a distracted student,
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons, and I think as particularly as I've gotten older, I kinda wish I could go back and redo things because obviously with age comes maturity, and for a few of us, the maturity
Mhm.
comes a little later, but that's okay. But I think that's true for a lot of people that you go in one direction, and that like I said, that's what's so great about what we do, and then you get part of the way through your career path, and you're like, "Wait a minute, I think I wanna go over here," and there you have it. So I think it's a really awesome opportunity to really find your true self and the things that you're really passionate about to move forward. So I applaud you for continuing to dig and continuing to explore to figure out what you really want to do, and you did it. And so I think that's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I just have to say before we move on is that you don't have to be the smartest student in the class. You didn't have to have that perfect high school experience where you're in all the AP classes and so forth, because I think that's what prevents people from getting higher degrees is that they don't have the faith in themselves, and you can do anything you want. And I really suggest if you kind of have that desire to learn more, that interest in obtaining a higher degree, just go for it. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Word to the wise. And there you have it. These programs do not build themselves. If you've learned anything, hey, if you've ever wondered how the magic happens behind the scenes to prepare a robust and technically perfect experience, you have found out why. And by the way, do not bring any red pens to Dr. Dennis. Just here warning. I want to thank my guest, Executive Director of Instructional Design and Technology for South College, Dr. Holly Dennis, for being my guest today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yay! Love that. And now we have some numbers to share. Coming up after the break, a whole new count that has us winding down the year in a very special way. Stick around. We'll be right back.
When you start your new career path at South College, you'll join students from different walks of life at varying stages in their lives. Many students are going back to school to finish degrees, while others are pursuing elevated education that will help them improve their potential in their current roles or for chasing a new direction. South College offers over 100 programs and concentrations with specialized focus on associate, bachelor's, master's, educational specialist, and doctoral degrees in healthcare, business, technology, education, and legal studies. We are regularly developing new academic programs based on local, regional, and national trends. Each curriculum is designed to promote development of knowledge and skills in the associated discipline as we challenge and support our students. South College is committed to providing intellectual, social, and professional development to a diverse student body. With locations in Knoxville, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, Asheville, North Carolina, Orlando, Florida, Indianapolis, Indiana, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Dallas, Texas, and Marietta, Georgia, as well as programs delivered through competency-based education, or CBE, and online. We're here with you every step of the way, starting with the admissions process. To find out more, visit South College at south.edu. South College, where dreams find direction.
Welcome back. Well, here we grow again. I feel like we just did this a few months ago, and we did. South College is proud to announce that we are now over 20,000 students across all 10 campuses. Wow, 20,000. My goodness, we did it. We had 5,600 students my first week several years ago, and even 10,000 students at that time seemed a long way off. It has come with a lot of hard work, long hours, tough decisions, and a lot of amazing students that have put their future and their education first as a top priority. We are so proud of all of you and so humbled to be a part of your journey. We know the road is bumpy and tough some days, and trust me, we have a few of them on this side. But we also know you have choices as to where you want to go and get your education. And we are so proud that you chose us. We will always be here for you and always rooting for you. We are taking a small victory lap as we grow again, and we definitely have a lot more milestones to come. We are so thankful for all of you. You just keep watching this space. With 10 campuses across 7 states, plus online and CBE, there's a pathway for you at South College. Hope you enjoyed this latest episode of Live from South College. Thanks for joining me. If you love it, give it some stars, and you can always send us feedback by emailing us at southcollegepodcast@south.edu. Have an awesome day and let your dreams find direction. See you next time.